Yeah.
Okay, super. So hello, everyone. It's David Atkinson here from Holochain. Welcome to another ecosystem session. We've got the Kizuna team here today. It's the 9th of November, 2020, and we have in order, I'm not sure how the screen's recording, but we have in order that I can see, Akira, Neil, Tats, and Nico. So welcome, guys.
Hey, what's
Hi.
up?
So
Thank you for
Thanks for
having
having us, David.
yeah, delighted you've got some exciting news that you want to discuss, demo, and tell us, and learn a little bit more about Kizuna. So really excited to have you all here.
Yep, we're excited to be here too.
Yeah, super.
Thank
So
you.
why don't we start with just and please, guys, just jump in and freeform. If one person wants to say something and someone else wants to explain it differently, just absolutely go for it. Don't think there's a perfect way. But didn't someone just jump in and tell us a little bit about Kizuna, what it is, where you're at, how it works, just before we get into some of the more conceptual conversations. Are great for everyone just to start with an idea of what Kizuna is.
Cool. So Kizuna is a distributed, cloud-enabled, peer-to-peer messaging application that prioritizes privacy, security, and user-centricity. Kizuna is a nonprofit project by the Holochain Institute of Japan, and Kizuna enables a more secure, more private era of human communication.
That is a very well rehearsed response. Yeah, that's sensational. Did you just come up with that then?
Is it? It's good to have notes.
Outstanding. And how did you just dream this up in your sleep, or like where does this come from?
You mean like how did we come up with building up a distributed messaging application?
What made you decide to spend your time, your like precious time on Earth, focused on this problem?
Yeah. Yes, I think I can start answering that. So Kizuna application, first of all, we, as Akira said, we started a nonprofit organization in Japan maybe like a start of this year, and we named it Holochain Institute of Japan, short for 𝐻CIJ, and its main purpose is to kind of like help spread the use of Holochain in Japan and promote it here and help other companies and organizations to use the technology, and alongside with that, build Holochain applications that we think would be very useful and good for the people who are going to be using it. And so when this year started, I personally went to Portugal, Lisbon, to meet some of the core community members in Holochain. And we were ideating on a lot of things that Holochain could do and the potential of Holochain and the future of Holochain. And when I came back, I talked to the team. And since we've been working with Holochain and learning about it for about a year at that time, we thought it was the right time for us to build an application on top of it. And so there are two other startups that are involved with Holochain, with Kizuna. So one is Umeville, that's a startup located in Japan, and Beyonder, that's a startup located in the Philippines. And those two companies are working together with 𝐻CIJ to build Kizuna. So as to the reason why we wanted to build it, to shortly summarize it, we can expound on it later, is that in the past, we realized that in the past 2 decades, we've seen a huge rise in the number of socially enabling applications. Like you can name a lot of applications out there that helps people connect together, communicate together, or work together, collaborate together. And we think this brought a huge, huge amount of benefits and convenience for all of us. But on the flip side of the coin, it also brought a lot of societal problems that we are facing right now, like increase in the percentage of people getting distracted, people having self-doubts, people feeling like they are getting manipulated by these very applications that they are using. And we feel like fundamentally there are two core problems to it. One is architecture problems and the other is the business model problem. Architecturally, we feel like the problem is that all of the data that we generate through these applications are not owned by us who generated it, but owned by the provider of the application. And this gives the providers of the application the power to use those data to create a model of ourselves and use that to sort of manipulate our behaviors and way of thinking, and basically into clicking ads, advertisements, targeted advertisements, and that kind of, so it's a business problem. It's a business model problem, right? Because that kind of manipulative strategy to make huge amount of money has created extreme rise in the percentage of anxieties, people getting distracted and getting polarized. So we feel like those two goes hand in hand, and we felt like someone has to do something about it. Someone has to start something to start fixing this problem that we are facing. And we thought Holochain is a perfect fit for that because it brings back the ownership of data to the people who are created it, and it gives them the control, full control over it, and it's more robust, resilient, and the power structure of the application is distributed rather than centralized. And so we decided to go with Holochain. And in Japan especially, there is a messaging application that is very famous here, which is called Line. And obviously there are other messaging applications that's being used in Japan, but that has, I think, the majority of the user capture of the market in Japan. I think 80% of the 20s, people who are in their 20s use this application to communicate with their closed ones and workmates. And they are an example of the architectural and business model that I mentioned a while ago. So half of their revenues come from advertisements, targeted advertisements, and obviously their architecture is centralized. All of their data is stored in the servers that the company owns, and there are numerous number of hacking attacks, accounts being stolen, people pretending to be someone else while messaging their closed ones. And we felt like there has to be, not just we actually, a lot of the people in Japan has been echoing the concern of the problem that I have just mentioned, and they want to have a more simple, authentic way of communicating with each other. And so we felt like building a messaging application on top of Holochain is going to be a perfect fit to respond to the need that we think is growing in the recent times in Japan, and not just in Japan, but in the whole world as well. Yeah.
Super. Thank you, Tats. That's great. Over to you or anyone else who jumps. Actually, maybe I could hear from each of you guys, but like, why personally does this problem matter so much? Like, what do you believe about yourselves and the world that makes you really want to crack this particular problem?
I'll go first, I guess. I think with the exponential increase of social media platforms, um, they uh, they affect so much of today's culture, trends, economy, lifestyle, and even politics that it bothers me that being able to centralize the data that you get from the social media platforms, it gives you the power to somehow control the users of the platform if you have the data. So I guess that's my concern about it. I think the data being centralized is gives the social media platforms the power to manipulate the users or even the trends to what they want it to be.
And do you have like a personal experience with that, Neil, or do you have
Mm,
like not that necessarily your data or a friend or something was manipulated, but like why does that, like there's a lot of people that sort of get
well,
that
here
concept but don't actually do anything about it, right?
here in the Philippines, the election is heavily affected by social media because there are um, very what do you call this? There's a substantial amount of fake information online, and with the population of the Philippines being mostly it's not the right term. Most of the population being somehow illiterate, they felt easy to be manipulated by these fake news. And right now, I'm not sure about the population, but I'm not happy with the current administration of the Philippines. And I think social media platform affects the politics here heavily.
All right, super. Who else? That was beautiful. Thank you. Who else?
Yeah.
So back then, for me, there's this principle regulation before called correspondence of secrecy, or basically correspondence of letters. This was established by some European countries back then when we used to not have the internet available. So back then, you would send physical letters to your recipient, whether that's, locally in your country or on the other side of the world. And there was this regulation around the privacy of those letters, and that basically what they're saying is that um, there's a like laws protecting the content of the letter as well as the originator, where the letters came from and where it's going. There were laws protecting that. And fast forward to today, when technology has boomed so much and has improved, and due to technological advancements, we kind of lost that kind of privacy in terms of the uh, the contents of our letters, and relating that to our project Kizuna, I think it's very important that we kind of have to preserve that privacy, especially when it comes to our personal information, the messages that we send to other people, to our loved ones, our close ones. um, and there's also this activity where these centralized applications try to snoop around and have access. Third parties get access to your information and data, and and I feel like that's the part of Kizuna project I'm really invested in, and that's the part I love about the Kizuna project, and that we're trying to bring that privacy back. So to me, that's the reason why I'm in this project.
And again, have you have you had your privacy breached before, or like what makes it so different than the millions of people that understand this but just move on with their lives anyway, and go to work or whatever? What makes it so important for you to actually stick with this issue and say, no, that I want to do something about it? Is there a personal story, or?
To me, it's more about just looking outside and just trying to look at these powerful entities coming out of these centralized applications. To me, I really opposed to this kind of surveillance thing. These applications that force you to do something because they know what your weaknesses are. They know what your likes are, what your dislikes are, and therefore they can kind of customize that content, whatever content that you see online, so that they can persuade you into doing something that you don't necessarily want to, but you end up doing it anyway because you're just influenced, and this information about you is widely accessible and available to them. And it's just I just believe that it's a problem that is worth solving, especially right now that we have these technologies available to us. No personal experiences yet. After reading about this, I tried my best to practice good data privacy hygiene, to try and avoid that. But also, I think part of what makes me invested in this project is that we have this opportunity to kind of also share what Kizuna can do for other people in terms of the privacy of their conversations. So yeah.
I just want to add to what Neil and Akira said. I think, and I guess this ties to my personal experience with using social media platforms and messaging applications. I think the effect that it has on us is very subtle, and I think that's the way they want it to be. And most of the time, we don't realize that we are getting manipulated by it. I think because that is how it is designed. But when you look closely, for example, when things that you message with your friends, things that you converse with your friends, suddenly starts appearing in your advertisements or targeted advertisements. And when you look at it, you don't even know, like you just know, like for me, for example, I was messaging with my friends about boxing gloves because I started training before. I started doing kickboxing before. And then at the time, like a day after or 2 days after, I started seeing ads of like gloves on all of my social media feeds, in my Instagram, in my Facebook. And at that time, I didn't know, or I forgot where I talked to that person, but then I know I did. And there's no way those platforms could have gotten that information anywhere else other than that place where I talked to my friends, right? And in terms of what Neil was talking about, social media platforms affecting a lot of the political landscapes and cultural landscapes that we have today, especially since like four of us, well, I live in Japan now, but four of us I used to live in the Philippines too. I grew up there as well. And you see this subtle shift in the way people view the world and how they start to get fixated with it. Like, especially for me, whenever I talk to people, like my friends in the college, and when I was in college, like I start to notice that it's becoming very harder for people to accept that there are various opinions about a certain thing. And I feel like these kind of social media platforms are somewhat responsible for it, because when you like posts, chances are that similar posts are going to be starting to appear in your social feeds, and you start to get kind of like conditioned to think that these are the only information available in the world. And when people disagree with you on that, you start to feel like you feel like what you don't understand, why the other person doesn't understand what you understand. And that's because everyone is getting shown different kinds of information based on their preferences, right? So I feel that like day by day, it's becoming harder for me to kind of like have a healthy conversation with other people, not just on social media, but in real life as well. And I feel like our worldview getting manipulated by very few powerful entities are going to be problematic from now on unless we do something about it. Yes, Nico. Yeah. What does?
Right. So, I guess for me personally, I do recognize the impact of social media and messaging applications, especially here in the Philippines. I guess you could say that we're one of the top users of social media, and I could personally vouch that a lot of my connections and circles have used online messengers instead of as a primary form of communication. So we could say that a significant portion of the population here in the Philippines actually engage in social media. And I wanted to take leverage of that for a good social impact. But however, there had been a lot of clamor here, especially in the Philippines, about data privacy. So but I guess here in the Philippines, we may have come into game late. Like we only recently recognized that there have been a lot of unethical use of data online. So when I heard of Umibel and Beyonder and the Holochain Institute of Japan, and they were aiming to provide solutions to the problems of centralized servers, so I just wanted to be part of the team and to help make an impact. So because before this, I think I felt helpless. Like I knew that there was a problem, but I didn't know how to fix it or how could I make an impact. So being part of this team that's aiming to provide solutions for this important problem has really been a great opportunity for me. Yeah, so I guess that's my personal experience about and my attachment to this project.
Super, super, super. Fantastic, guys. Before we get into the demo, I just want to understand a little bit of like what we've touched on it, but like what really pulled you to Holochain and why the Holochain application framework sort of to underpin this solution.
Who wants to go? I could. Yeah, I guess I'll start and then just help me answer it. For me, I think what makes Holochain really unique compared to others kind of decentralized solutions out there is that it's like the agents or the people who are part of the network are sort of like they all agree with this rule of the game within each network, each applications, and they are the very person or people who are maintaining the network healthy. And if they choose to so yeah, I feel like it gives more power to the end users rather than the people who are providing the applications. And the concept of data ownership to me is very new. I haven't seen that anywhere else before. And again, it's for me, I think for a lot of people, it's a very subtle thing, especially if you're just using an application. You don't really notice whether you own or not own a data, but then the way it affects you in all aspects of your life is massive. And for me, allowing the information you generate to belong to you is a very powerful thing. And sort of this idea of each agent, each node, each person in the network being responsible rather than a single entity being responsible for keeping the network healthy. Each person, each agent being responsible for keeping the network healthy is something that for me is more resilient and robust and less brittle. Yeah. So that's what makes me really attached to this framework. And also, sorry, just to add, not only the technological part, but also the community part, I think is very, very, very fascinating in Holochain. Most of us here are very, like no, actually all of us here have at least talked to one other community members in the Holochain, more than maybe. And we attend a lot of community organized events, meetings, and seeing that energy where, you know, each community member is trying to provide what they can provide voluntarily without even asking for anything in return, just to keep the entire ecosystem of Holochain growing, and this idea of data ownership and distributed networks coming to life is something really wonderful. It's like the technological aspect of Holochain is getting manifested into real life community in Holochain. So I think that's really something special as well.
Yeah, I guess I have to agree with that stuff on here. Like the community, the Holochain community is really helpful, especially for, well, someone like me who's just coming into the game. Like I really don't know anything much about Holochain when I started. Then engaging with the community, they were so helpful. They were really willing to help. Like even if I felt hopeless, I guess, or helpless about tackling a certain problem, like I felt that and someone in the community wouldn't give up on you, and they'd actually dig and help you dig into the problem to help you solve it. So I guess that's one of the really fascinating thing about Holochain. And in terms of its technological advances, I guess I was informed of the downsides of centralized servers early on during my undergraduate years. And I was thinking of solutions to it. And it was really hard since a lot of systems in our world right now are dependent on centralized servers. And some advances like the blockchains are provide certain limits, I guess, for their implementation. So when I heard that Holochain provided a solution and an advancement from blockchain, I guess I like fell in love with the architecture of Holochain, maybe, and I wanted to see it realized into an application that would benefit other people as well.
Yeah, super. Well, guys, I think it's time. I think it's time to show us all what you've been building.
Okay, it's demo time.
Demo time.
All right. Okay. Yeah, sure. So I guess I'll be sharing my screen now. Let me just set it up. Give me a few minutes. Okay. Share screen. Is it shared now, my screen? Can everybody see it? Great.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Right. So today we'll be showing everyone three agents or people trying to communicate with each other on a one-to-one, person-to-person basis. So yeah, let's run the demo. And okay, so okay. Let me just move this somewhere else. There. Okay, so hide this. There you go. Okay, so let's make 3 users first. So right now we are only thinking of getting the username of the agents because Holochain already provides this kind of identity mechanism through their public keys. And so our idea, especially in Japan, people are sensitive to giving their private information, like their, I don't know, like phone numbers especially. And so if we could go just with getting their usernames and allowing them to communicate with each other, I think that would be something wonderful, because it makes it more private for people who are really sensitive to sharing their information online. So now let's try to give them a username. So this, I would give him Albert and Bobby, and also let's make it Clarice. Yeah. So let's move this a bit. There. So right now we have contacts tab here, and okay, let's turn them into a smartphone, just so it looks like a smart. So yeah, we plan to mainly target mobile applications for Kizuna in the first release, and we would like to slowly expand to other platforms as well. So right now, so now let's try to add. So this is Albert, right? And he would be able to add Bobby. So you see here, Bobby would be able to. So Bobby is now added to the contacts, and Bobby would now add Albert to his contact. Okay. And you could also delete contacts right now. So for example, if you'd like to delete someone from your contacts, you could just press it. And we're also thinking of creating capabilities around this contacts. So basically, if you are not in someone's contacts, then we're thinking of not allowing that person to message the other person first. So you would have to tell the person to, hey, add me in your contacts first before we start talking to each other. So let's add them back. Oh, not Albert, but Bobby. And also let's add Clarice. There you go. So Bobby and Clarice are here. And let's add Albert and Clarice. There you go. And for Clarice, let's add Albert. Clarice. Yeah. So as you can see, they all added their contacts, and right now it's not much of a use because there's only 2 contacts, but you can obviously also search your contacts like that. Yeah, if ever your contacts just grows in list.
The only thing is, on the right one, you might want to add Bobby as well.
Oh yeah, sorry, Clarice added herself.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I don't want the demo to mess up because.
Exactly. Oh my God, thank you, David. There you go. So Bobby added herself. Clarice added Bobby already. So yeah, and look, you can also look at your information here. So this is your public key, and this is your username, and this is how other agents in the network would identify you. So let's start messaging each other now, right? So so you can also search here. So it's Bobby. So it says here it's creating a private chat room. So right now our implementation is that each chat room that is being created in Kizuna is isolated from other networks. And that means that other people don't even know that that conversation exists. We're for sure we'll implement this for group conversations, and for person-to-person, peer-to-peer messaging. We're still thinking we have other alternative ways to do it, just in case that creating a new network becomes not so cheap in terms of cost. So yeah, but for now, this is the solution that we have. And as you can see, Albert pops up here, and let's chat. So, hi, Bobby. Let's put an emoji there. There you go. Yeah, so this is an actual networking happening. It's just that it's happening locally. We're doing this over Sim2H. Yeah, over a Sims2H server. So you have a nice timestamp there. So, hi, Albert. Welcome to Kizuna. Let's make a story here. Clarice told me that you should message her. She has something to tell you. Oh, sure thing. And then Bobby could go on to his contact and see Clarice there, and also message Clarice. There you go. Hi, Clarice. Oh, Albert told me to message you.
So good.
Hey, yeah, I wanted to tell you that you forgot your bag of cookies in my place a while ago. Oh no. Can have them. Nice, thanks. So yeah, right now the demo that we have is up until here. It allows over the network. It allows users to send messages to one another, and it also creates a nice little avatar for you based on the username that you pick. And for now, we're also thinking of a lot of design choices, because, for example, right now you don't see any read notifs that you usually get in the messaging applications, and you also don't see that typing 3-dot thing that you see when someone is typing. Like if Bobby is typing, usually you would see something here that's typing. And as much as possible, we would like to leave this choice to the end user of the application. So so that it becomes a more user-centric application. Basically, if you don't want other people to know that you're typing, then we should give them the preference to do so. If they don't want to have the notifs that says your message was read, then we would like to give that choice of preference to them as well. And apart from that, you see a call icon here, and we're gonna have a video icon here as well soon. So that's something that we're working on now, together with the group messaging. So all of these are going to be happening on a peer-to-peer network, even call and video call. We're planning to use WebRTC for that. And we're also thinking of a lot of gimmicks kind of features right now. So for example, if someone tries to screenshot your conversation, we want our applications to prevent that. Basically, when you screenshot it, it just becomes a white screen, and you don't have the messages in your picture. And if you are messaging in a public place, like a crowded place like train, where people beside you could look at your messages, then it would be nice that if you top your message, then it just becomes blurry, so that no one can look at your messages if you don't want them to, right? So yeah, that's what we have right now. And we're also right now working on moving our code base from Holochain Redux to Holochain RSM. And we just want to also say that it has been a very enjoyable experience, seeing how fast RSM is and how excited the community is. So yeah, we're gonna keep working on it. And hopefully the next ecosystem session, we're gonna be able to do some real-time messaging over with you, David, even, like you could start up a little Kizuna interface there and maybe have message or call. So yeah, that would be
Amazing.
yeah, so that's the demo that we have. Let me stop my share now. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic, guys. So what can we expect next then? We got a bit of a sense from the product. But yeah, what can we expect next? And I can't wait to have you guys back and see the progress and start messaging, as you say.
Yeah. I think once Holochain RSM is ready for networking, because this was something we wanted to do but wasn't able to get to because RSM came already, and so we wanted to transition right away. But in the Holochain Redux, there was a public SIM2H server we could connect to. So we would have wanted to allow remote devices to actually message each other and see how latencies and all the network issues will be. And so if RSM is ready for networking, we would definitely want to do that. And the next stop on our list is group messaging. So for group messaging, this is something special, I think, that Holochain is really good at, like creating group membranes around each group chat. So we really would like to create isolated networks for each of the group chats and have them have strong membranes where group members could agree who can come in and who cannot. And this is something very hard to do in a centralized server, even in end-to-end encrypted messaging applications, because you don't know, basically when you're messaging in most of the messaging applications right now, you are sending your key to all the members in the group, right? When you join a group. And the thing is, you don't know if you're actually only sending it to the members of the group or you're sending it to someone whom the application provided wanted to. So it could be a spy, it could be a government. And actually, there's a government agency, I think in the UK, named GCHQ, government, some communication headquarters, something. And some of the members there released a research paper saying exactly that we could spy on criminal organizations by being a secret member of or silent member of a group communication. And this is something that we're very scared of, honestly. And I think Holochain's membranes property is something that will be very, very useful to prevent something like this from happening. So yeah, I hope everyone will be excited for that. That's next on the list.
Super. Wow, guys. Well, fabulous. Is there anything else you want to share, communicate, make sure? Yes, Akira, there is.
Yeah. First, thank you for that demo. That's really good. As you can see, the team has been working hard on making the Kizuna project happen. And the next step for us right now is for our upcoming crowdfunding. So we invite you all to please support the Kizuna crowdfunding. It's happening soon. So you can learn more about the Kizuna project. The link is gonna be down below in the description. And also, Kizuna messaging application would not build itself, and we need to do something about this. And we need your help to make this happen. And the best way to do that right now is to tell about Kizuna to your friends, your family, and also to subscribe to our newsletter. This is the best way, really, for us to kind of put the message out there so that we can have a successful crowdfunding campaign. So again, I invite you all to please support us, subscribe to our newsletter, and we'll try to make this happen for you.
Super, thank you. So the details for everyone of the crowdfund will come out, and they'll be, as they're announced, they'll be linked to this, I imagine. Is there anything else that people need to know about that? Or maybe we can come back, and as you're announcing the crowdfund, we can we can have another session and just give the details of the crowdfund as well as a brief update if something like that would work for you guys.
That works. That works for us. Yeah. So far, that's it for now. For the details, that's to follow. We would love to have another session with you. Hopefully, by that time, we can show a little bit more also on the demo side. But yeah, we're really excited about this.
Super. Thanks. Well, anything else? Otherwise, I'll bring us to a close. Neil or Nico, anything from you guys?
I think they summed up everything.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, really hoping for your support in this. Yeah.
Yeah, super. Well, I'll bring this close. Thank you everyone for watching. We had the Kizuna team. So we had Akira, Tats, Nico, and Neil. Thank you very much, guys, for the demo and all of the insight and the love and the care that you can see in what you're building, and also participation in the community. And yeah, look forward to having you back and announcing the crowdfund and having a successful crowdfund and a successful product launch. And yeah, offering an alternative to all of your friends and colleagues in their 20s who are using centralized messaging with subtly unhelpful psychological sort of underpinnings. So looking forward to shifting that for people and giving them a better option. So that, thank you everyone for watching. It was another Holochain ecosystem session. And yeah, some fantastic insights from the team, and looking forward to seeing more. Okay.
Thanks for having us, David.